with this huge size, and at this huge size, growing steadily over the last 5 6 years or so, and a supply that is already available worth of around 100 to 150 billion dollars at least, right? So that's the kind of knowledge that we're talking about. There's a huge demand out there, and there's a huge supply that is actually available. And now that is not all, because the future actually looks even brighter, right? It is estimated that the B2C e-commerce market, if we talk about e-commerce, overall the e-commerce market, right? We estimate it to be at least $8 billion by 2026. Now, 2026 is not too far away, right? It's right around the corner, right? So $8 billion is what we essentially estimate it to be. And if you have seen the focus by the government of India on e-commerce exports, right? E-commerce exports has actually been included as a separate category of exports in our research foreign trade policy, and the government actually estimates that this number could reach around. So at an overall level, the government plans to do around $1 trillion in exports by 2030, and around 30% of that number is estimated to be e-commerce exports, right? So we're talking about a $200 to $300 billion estimate by the government of India. So that's what we're essentially talking about. And that's how the landscape is. There's a huge supply that's available, there's a huge demand that's available. This market is only going to start to grow, and from every stakeholder, be it the government, be it various stakeholders, be it the entire ecosystem, there is a huge focus on essentially growing this particular space, right? That is how strong the fundamentals of this business are. And I think that is what all of us need to essentially remember. Right? So that's what we talk about. So we talk about the size of the supply, the size of the demand. But let's also look at the Bidka data. It is numbers of people, but actually Bidka data. In terms of what is the retail exposure that actually sells from India, right? So it's a very, very legitimate and valid question, right? And these are just some of the categories that we're talking about, right? Apparel, of course, is a huge space. Home textiles, in general, is has always been India's traditional strength, right? And we actually continue to do well in that particular space. And that is where we are also seeing a lot of action that is actually coming out of it, right? Health and personal care, of course, that is a huge area that actually continues to do well. And if you also observe, India is one of the few countries in the world with a very strong and robust B2C ecosystem, right? There's India.